posterity.
So for everybody who's here, the caterer is going to put leftover food in takeout containers on the table so she can get the dishes done. If you leave and there's some there, even if you don't want it, if you want it, take it. If there's some left over, take it home and compost it yourself, because I'm not always going to stay here late to do it.
Is that where we have the disposable cups?
That's right.
Thank you, Sally. Okay, welcome everyone. And I believe that we have several guests with us today. I'm going to call out names of people I sent the invites to. So if you're on the screen, could give a little wave, that would be great. Polly Dakin. Don't actually see her. Jane Stickney. Oh, I'm batting 1,000. Jane Kearns. Brenna Devitt. Oh, there's Jane. Good morning. Brenna. Krista Lee. April, I know, is here. We'll see you in a minute. And I have Fanny Granny. Okay. Well, welcome to those of you who asked for the invite, and I'm sure we'll see you in the next few minutes. For anybody who may be new to our meetings, we start with an inspiration, and then we have a Rotary cog, which is just a little tidbit of information about Rotary, and then we move on to our speakers. So the person who was going to do the inspiration this morning, Farmer Mike, was unable to make it. So if anybody has something inspiring they'd like to share, I will offer that up. Otherwise, I have something. Okay. What?
It's not a, I just reminded, one of the most inspirational things I've seen is that little girl from Ukraine.
Well, why don't you come right on up here and share? That would be great.
Well, I can't, I can't sing it. No, there was this little girl who's become a worldwide thing who sang the Ukrainian national anthem, and then so she's had, I don't know, millions and millions of people. That's a very beautiful little girl. So
Marty, how old is she?
I think she's 7,
Yeah.
something like that.
Is she the one who was singing in the subway station? And then
Yes, and then they left, and I think it was in Poland, and you see her, I think it was in Poland, with this huge audience, and so that's pretty inspirational, I thought.
I would have to agree with you. Absolutely.
I think all of the Ukrainian people are inspired.
Yeah.
What they're doing is accomplishing.
Agreed. Yeah, I think, it's pretty amazing to me. So what our human spirits are capable of is pretty amazing. Ted Kenny is scheduled to do our Rotary cog this morning. I do not see him up there yet. Okay. Ted, if you're there, speak up, please. Okay. Well, today is the last day of National Women's History Month. And on July 1st of this year, Jennifer E. Jones will lead Rotary International as the first woman president in the 115-year history of Rotary. Yeah. So, well, so I think we could go.
Better late than never.
I was going to say, so I'm going to leave it with the applause. That's great.
Yeah,
Other discussions for later. But I did want to share a quote from Jennifer that I think applies to everyone in this room and up on the screen. Imagine a world that deserves our best, where we get up each day knowing that we can make a difference. So I'd like to take that and move forward with it, and also with Marty's inspiration of the young girl in the Ukraine. I wish I had her name, so I'll have to Google that. But Without further ado, our speaker chair for the month of March is Sonia Stevens. So Sonia, I will let you go ahead and introduce our speaker.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you. March is also Women in Business Month, and I invited April Cornell last fall, and she very appropriately told me to ask her again as we got closer to the date, and she has been willing to come this morning. She is an artist and an entrepreneur, one whose inspired designs lie at the heart of what she does. Born in Montreal, Canada, to parents from Nova Scotia, she is one of 4 children. April is the proud mother of 3 sons and 2 granddaughters who currently live in Burlington, Vermont, on the cozy shores of Lake Champlain. April's wondrous blend of romantic florals and bohemian style can be traced to the places she loves most, from the alluring region of Provence to dusty fabric markets in New Delhi, from the winding alleys of Portugal to the coast of California. Her journey has led her to the bazaars of Istanbul and through the barren beauty of the Afghan mountains, revealing beauty around every corner. April's legacy and one-of-a-kind vision continue to guide the company to this day. She is still hard at work and as dedicated as ever to pursue the beauty of every day. And I know our family and my 2 children and their husband and wife have enjoyed her designs for many, many years. So April, thank you for coming.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Thanks for the invitation. And thanks for ending on the family note because I've been in business now for 47 years, which to me is, I cannot comprehend it. But somehow my business has become generational. And I think we always try to appeal to generations, to different family members and different families. And we've always worked with generations in other countries, particularly in India, where it's very common for businesses to be shared amongst families. So my sons are all in the business now, and so are their partners, wives, and my youngest granddaughter loves to model for us. So it's interesting. If you see our catalogs or online, our models are also, I think our oldest model is 75, and she's gorgeous, you know. And I would say our customers at this period, there's this kind of, you know, from my day it was back to the land. And now there is also a return to those kind of values and that kind of beauty, and they call it cottage core. And the people who are embracing cottage core are not only the older folks like myself, but young women. And our retail store in Burlington, Vermont will have these small gangs of 4 women, let's say 16 to 20 or something, coming in and oohing and awing at printed dresses and prairie style and handmade product, things that really were at the beginning of the company over 4 decades ago. So it's interesting to see that change, and it's also interesting to see that longing for kind of a sincere life and a sincere product to furnish your life, you know, and the value that we can take in that. Personally, I feel like a very, very privileged when somebody purchased something from me and it is hanging in their closet, used in their home, and going with them about their life. Like, I just think, like, how can you get closer to somebody than that? How can you feel more connected with women? You know, that they will actually use something that you have made and very often use it at some of the best occasions in their lives. And very often people tell me, like, I just looked at that thing and that made me feel better. You know, so I think like when you wrap up mission and all that kind of thing, certainly the connection to women and to family has been um, an integral part of who I am and who the company is. I try to see women in their daily lives and what they're up to and what they need to feel a little better. And I think we all need that. And we need it right now. It's kind of tough, but we need it all the time. You know, you need to know that someone's there for you. So we kind of we feel we are, and we want to be that brand for our customers, that they can count on us. The journey of this company started a long ways back, and probably a lot of the workings of it, you know, started on traveling to the East and traveling to Afghanistan, and which was the first country that we actually bought from and spent a lot of time in, and really learned how to do business through trading and through bargaining and negotiating and understanding that a deal had to be good for both parties. You couldn't just score and expect to work with that person again. They had to be able to have value out of the exchange as well. And that started with things like carpets and just such incredible product. When I went to Afghanistan, it's like, I have never seen such things, you know, the textiles, the weaving. I think that's really what rang the bell for the textile journey. And my generation hadn't seen it either. So when we brought that stuff back, and I was with then my boyfriend, which became my husband, became my ex-husband, happily married now to Basil Stetson since 2011, and he helped me get my business back on track too. But in those days, we were just two people traveling, but we did have a goal to start a business and to buy stuff and sell stuff, basically. So first places were like in a kiosk over Christmas. By 1st of January, we're on a plane, not doing the overland route anymore, but flying directly into Kabul and just buying more stuff. And within 6 months or so, we started a retail shop on a second floor. That's where you learn all the lessons of what not to do, and in Montreal. And that kind of journey of travel just continued from there. And at first it was based in Afghanistan. And then Afghanistan is not known as a ladies' textile country. And so when we were there, started to hear about India. Oh man, India's got these cool textiles and stuff. So I made a trip to actually Kashmir, another area that has suffered so much since then, you know, and been at the heart of political division. And stayed on the beautiful Dal Lake in a houseboat and met people, made paper mache boxes, and there was a Tibetan refugee settlement and bought, you know, woolen sweaters from the Tibetans. And next time actually went to New Delhi and found out where people were making the sort of printed clothing and that type of stuff. And started my first relationship with India there. And that had its origins. I've always liked a mix of style and inputs. And that had its origins in a vintage market on Canal Street in New York, where I just found this amazing antique nightie. And I said, oh my God, imagine if we could make that, you know, which actually seemed beyond reason to me at the time, that you could replicate something with beautiful embroideries, and that was from 100 years ago. But I met some people in India who were doing that kind of thing and who had purchased after the Second World War huge embroidery machines from Germany. So the world is so connected, right? There's so many pieces that are locked together. Anyways, we started working with them, and they were really the cornerstone of beautiful embroidered goods for us for quite a while. And that was my entry into working in India, which fast forward in 1992, which it wasn't as fast then. Now everything's so fast, but I lived in New Delhi with my family for a year, and during that year, India opened because India was a closed economy, and India opened to foreign-owned investment. So in that year, we were the first company, American company, foreign-owned company, 100% foreign-owned company to open an office in New Delhi. So that's 30 years ago, this past January. And it was very small, little basement. We started with kind of a liaison office, and then we opened in a small basement with a few tailors and a cutting master. And now we have a factory over there that employs about 350 full-time employees and about 500 people total, you know, between contract workers and different associated individuals. And that also houses our showroom, design center, and we work with people, companies, other companies in Europe and Australia and obviously the US through that company, as well as design our own product. And I think the huge advantage of that company has been that we have been able to design and sample to our heart's content, maybe excessively so. And so it has given us a license to be creative, which would be very difficult to do, you know, with multiple vendors. During COVID, you know, was shocking for everyone. I was just on my way to India when everything locked down. So I've not been there for 2 years. I'll be leaving next month. But during that period, having our own factory and our, you know, obviously retail was closed for some time. And wholesale, we have a retail, wholesale, online, and licensing business. So wholesale just about, you know, it just went quiet. We had purchased all their inventory for the fall season, which, who knew, was good because we had it to sell online. And online went through the roof and was, you know, surpassed all of our disaster planning that we had put in place. What if planning? If this happens, what do we do? If this happens, what do we do? And to everybody's surprise, not just our companies, online shopping became something that people could do. And the home and how you feel and look became important to people. So our product resonated with those people, and we were able to supply our company, and we were also able to supply similar companies around the world, which developed a real trust with those buyers. We had, India went through some tough times during COVID as well. They had, their first wave was not so bad, but their second wave was a disaster. And vaccines, which they were shipping all over the world, were not available domestically. And anyways, we managed early on. Just, I mean, it was like the beginning. It was almost like an overnight thing. That suddenly it's a disaster. And we had 2 vaccination camps at the factory where we managed to vaccinate our entire staff and also staff of all of our subcontractors, and then subsequently deliver the second vaccine to them. And India always has a different fun way of doing things. So we had all the vaccination, the mobile unit came to the factory and all that. And then of course came a photo booth where you could get your picture taken. I've had my vaccine, everybody posting it online and everything. So that was kind of a cute, feel good element and very Indian element of it. That's, journey to journey. I think I've kind of gone from the beginning to the end. We've done hundreds and hundreds of trade shows. At one time, we had over 105 retail stores, which most of them closed. We have our store in Burlington. We have one in Asheville, Carolina, which actually is a new one, and my son and daughter-in-law run that. And we still have our original headquarters in Montreal on Green Avenue, which is in a 3-story townhouse, charming building on Green, and where the company started actually. But all of those retail stores, that was a big deal when they closed. That was a very, very tough time, and the business ended up in my hands. And I think the next 3 or 4 years was just figuring out how to keep it going, having the factory once again. And part of the reason for keeping it going was the factory, but having the factory who could supply us very small quantities and we could just keep designing and working was huge. We did a lot of licensing at that point too. And now we're on this path that I think, just from my observation in business, being able to pivot to having a few things within your company that you can pivot to when maybe the focus, imagine if we would have had 105 retail stores like the last 2 years, it would have been a tough time. But because of the transition, kind of in the, maybe it was after 2006, but really after 2010 to online, we had the access to the marketplace. So access to the marketplace is always the thing, right? Plus we revived our wholesale business. Same online business in Canada and sort of a retail business in Canada too. So during the pandemic was a time when really the pivoting was really important. I mean, probably every single aspect of the business, all of our designing was done remotely. Million Zoom meetings, lots of 6 a.m. Meetings with India, a lot of strength on their side, I would say. And I think most people are in the position now where we're pretty weary of this kind of working, and we feel the need to get back in person and receive energy from each other. So I think trips resuming to India is something that we're looking forward to. It's hard to do it this way, and I feel like people have been so diligent and so committed, and so many things have happened for everyone in the community and my community and all of our communities. And I think it's we've done a good job, hanging in, but hanging in is not like kind of, you want to be moving forward, and I'm hoping that that's what is ahead for us. When I think of Afghanistan and I think of that period, I think that I was privileged to see a world, between the worlds almost, a piece of the world in time where it was full of bustling with hostels and travelers and new businesses starting up and generosity and hospitality, and it was like an incredible time. It was not possible to believe that that would end, though I did find an old postcard saying, I wonder how long this can last, not knowing that it wouldn't be modernization that changed it, but war and terrorism. And now Afghanistan is described as the unhappiest country on earth. I mean, it's just like, where's our responsibility and all of that, right? And we're talking about Ukraine when we're opening this call, and I don't know, it's confusing. Now, all I can think is that, we continue to try to make a difference and to put our impact wherever we can. I think, like the quote, imagine a world that deserves our best and we get up every day knowing we can make a difference. I think we can make a difference, but sometimes we're making a difference maybe on one individual who's going to make a difference later for other people. I think we just have to keep trying and being collaborative. So I guess I just want to end, and if anybody wants to ask any questions or have any comments, I would love that. I just want to end by saying I have a lot of gratitude for what I've seen in this lifetime. I cannot believe, and I think my gratitude grows. I think when I was younger, everything is new. You can't be grateful for everything. You're just like, yeah, well, whatever, that's nice. I'm in Afghanistan. Now I see, how precious moments are and how important it is for us to, or if we are at that place, to view those things with very thankful eyes, and to, I don't know, for me right now, I can look at something and fall into it and just be so appreciative. And that is the most important thing. I very much appreciate seeing you all, and thank you. I'm done.
Sonia, if you want to kind of monitor questions on the screen, and I will let you know if there are people here who have questions.
I can't see everyone on screen right now. But,
oh, okay.
Go ahead, and then we'll tell people to just speak up.
Okay. Someone near and dear to you has a question. His name is Phil Stevens.
April, I'm of the age where women running businesses was not even hardly heard of, and I believe that it's changed. Could you just describe a little bit more, what do you think the environment is today for women to be chief executives of large businesses?
Personally, I never paid much attention to restrictions, because if you have your own business, right, you can do what you want. Many of the people I work with in India are women, because this industry is very women friendly, this textiles. But I think we're generally more open, more accepting. Maybe there's some quota driven stuff that it looks good to have a woman on the board or whatever. I personally think that I would like to see women embrace a different style of leadership. I would like to see compassion woven into what we do. I would like to see us, when we're speaking to our bankers, when we're speaking to the people in control of so much, that we are also communicating what our standards are, and that our standards speak for our families and our communities, and that 50% of the population are female. I don't feel that we've done an amazing job yet of taking our individuality and our sense of community and making that a part of companies. I would love to see more entrepreneurs, male and female, coming up. I think we're a little bit distanced right now. It feels like hard for people, or maybe they're just not as interested as my generation was at starting things. Maybe it's become, the entry point is harder. It doesn't seem as appealing. I don't know what. But I feel like we need people, women and men too, to just like be able to put a stake in the ground, say, I'm going to try this. Women leaders, national leaders and stuff, I'd like to hear them speak like what I think of women, who are thinking about everybody.
Thank
That's
you,
probably not a good
April.
answer, but what's that?
I said, thank you very much. And actually, I guess, what would you recommend? I mean, you said that you would like to see more women and men in entrepreneurial situations. What do you recommend as a starting point?
I think that does have to come from the individual, because they got to hang with it. So it has to be something they're interested in. But maybe there's a little too much emphasis on, you want to get there eventually, but on just being successful. And, so many ideas seem to go to a new app or to something that will have tremendous return. But I think just stuff, I really don't know. There is nothing wrong with the clothing business. We're still wearing clothing. It's not out of date. If when we talk vintage, fabrics from 100 years ago are still being used today. Cottons, it's a huge piece of what we wear. I think, you just got to start and then figure out your identity. I think food is wonderful, challenging, of course, if it's a restaurant or a bar or something, but there are other food, ways to do food where you can supply bigger. We always had our retail outlet plus a wholesale outlet. I think maybe that's an aspect of food that is important. So if you've gone to all the work to set something up, what's your other channel to sell the same thing? I guess I couldn't really say for someone else what to start.
Thank you. Does anybody in-house?
Angela.
Oh, Angela, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Leslie. And thank you so much, April. It's I don't actually have a question. It's more a comment or just something that I've been holding on to for a few years. I interviewed you probably in 2016 for a website that I was working for called Parent Co. And I came to the store, came to your office and interviewed you. And there were many things you said that stayed with me, but there's something you said that I actually think about possibly on a daily basis, which was that you believe and wish and hope that that people would surround themselves with beauty. And that it struck me on so many levels. And I will say, I went home that day and looked in the mirror and I was wearing, and I commented on your eyeglasses, I remember the frame. And you had these beautiful like cat's eye shaped glasses that were embellished on the corners here. And I said something about them and you were like, well, I wear these every day. And I why wouldn't they be something special or beautiful? And I looked in the mirror and I was just wearing these very utilitarian black frames. And it's such a silly thing, but the next time I bought frames, I bought these like purpley blue frames and I thought of you. And you can't really tell, but these are navy blue. They're not black. And they're a little bit transparent, translucent. Like I just look for, when I'm choosing things to have in my life and to surround myself within my home and to bring into my children's lives, I think of what you said, and that beauty for me means color, joy. It means the beauty and the people that I associate with and the things that I spend my time doing. It just, those words really, I took them all the way into my heart and I think about it in everything I do. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. I still believe that. I think when I think of my business and having the ability to base it really on beauty and appealing to that sense of beauty in people is pretty incredible. I Yeah, I can't get enough of it, and I can't stop looking at it. And it makes me feel good, and it lifts me up. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for April? Jude, do you want to come up here?
April, we didn't have our person here that was supposed to do the inspiration this morning, but listening to your talk, I can't imagine having anyone do a better job. It's really hard these days with the news being what it is and so much animosity that even we have in our own country. To hear you talk about your commitment to the people that you employ in India is so beautiful. So kind of like Angela, I'm going to keep that in my mind when I hear all this bad news and know that there are people that are still doing the good things and making really meaningful changes in people's lives so that I won't feel so discouraged. So, and I'm so pleased that your store is in Burlington too. I was concerned when you closed a number of your businesses, but I have several of your products. So thank you for just being here at the right time to tell us that. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jude. Any other questions or comments? I don't think so. April, could you put your contact information in the chat for me, please?
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Just have an awesome day, and let's take care of ourselves as we're taking care of everyone else.
Hold on, April. I think Sonia has something.
Okay.
Yes, thank you so much for coming today. I know we enjoy your products all the time. In appreciation for your speaking to us this morning, the Rotary makes a contribution or donation to the mentoring program at Williston School. So we appreciate your coming, and we'll be shopping soon.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Ciao.
April, we're going into a little bit of club business and then sharing time, and you are welcome to stay if
I
you'd
think
like.
I'll just send my info to you and then get out of this, okay?
Okay, perfect. Thank you so
Thanks.
much, April. Be
Bye.
well.
You too.
Thank you. Does anyone have any announcements to share? I know Andy does. Why don't you come on up?
Thank you. A number of, first of all, I haven't been here a lot the last couple of years. Good to be back. Good to see everybody. A lot of new members, a lot of new faces. We're one of the events, if you haven't heard already, one of the events that we have done for going on 25 years, kind of matching the ski challenge, is our big community event, which is the Easter parade and egg hunt. And that is coming up on us fast. Most of you guys know, unfortunately, I booked myself out of town that day inadvertently. So I want to impart some information. I know you guys are going to do an awesome job. And today, Chris volunteered himself to be the Grand Master. So I know you're in good hands, and I just wanted to kind of give an overview so that when everybody gets there, there's a lot of chaos, but there's kind of a sequencing, and Chris will step you through that. So starting on the 14th, so on Thursday the 14th, 2 days before the parade, which is going to be Saturday the 16th, at the club here is stuffing Easter eggs. So it's really all hands on deck. The more people we have, the faster it goes. There are thousands of eggs. You know, we spread them on the table. It's kind of fun. It might take an hour, 45 minutes, the more people. So please, if you can, be here on the 14th, ready to stuff eggs. I want to step you through, Rick, if you're able to screen share, thank you. Kind of want to step you through the day of, which is the Saturday. So the arrival time is 8 o'clock. And a lot of this is hurry up and wait, but I've got a rudimentary drawing up there. Things are upside down, backwards and sideways. So let me kind of orient you. I know. I was trying to put it together. But if you look at the top of the page, imagine you are on Route 2, and that as you look down, you're looking towards Williston Central School, the red building. And we've got a driveway coming in. We got the horseshoe driveway in and out. And the sidewalks are kind of the key things. So there are different hunt groups, and I have hunt leaders, and people can change, but right now I have 1 and 2-year-olds as Armand, 3 to 4 as Andrew, 5 to 6 is Gene, 7 to 9 is, I put Rick in charge of that. And I need a 10 and over because Chris really can't, he's been good at that forever, but you can't be, I need a 10 and over parade leader.
It's fun.
It's easy, it's fun. So let me know. We need one, but I don't want to just wait here for now. So the hunt leaders of each group will take their eggs and they will go to the hunt area and distribute them. So if you're looking, imagine we're now standing right and directly in front of the school. To the left, running from the main entrance over to the left side of the building, past the entrance to the music hall, is the 1 and 2 age group. So I guess that's Armand, you'll have your eggs and you'll take a team and use the whole area. It goes sidewalk to sidewalk. It's very shallow, and that's a large group. So spread it out. 3 and 4 I have is Andrew. You're going to be on the right side in front of the building, from the sidewalk all the way to the end of the building. Take it all the way out. Try to distribute the eggs, separate them out. The farther distance apart they are, the longer the hunt lasts. And we're only talking a matter of seconds anyway. So every second helps. Spread it out. And the more you spread it out, it gives more children an opportunity to get eggs. If you put them all together, some kid's going to go get 6 and some kid's not going to get any. So the idea is use your whole hunt area. The 5 and 6s, I guess, aren't necessarily showing up on that based on the dimensions. The 5s and 6s are going to go around behind into the, what is that? It's not the bell tower. What's the area behind?
Tennis courts and-
Yeah. So there's the area behind that. That's 5 and 6. So that's right now going to be Gene. So you'll take your eggs into that back area, spread it out, corner to corner. 7 to 9 is the largest hunt area. It's in the center of the green, sidewalk to sidewalk to sidewalk. So that will be Rick. There are going to be a lot of eggs there because that's our biggest group. These are our fastest predator hunters. They wear helmets and elbow pads. I mean, this is a full contact sport for these guys. So again, people that are there that can help Rick spread it out. And the kids will even be walking around and they'll be seeing them there as we go around. So 8 o'clock, distribute. Then it's almost hurry up and wait. People will start getting there. It's really hard to do communications. I have these little strips. So grab a handful of strips, and as families come up, give it, and they just read it, and it tells them briefly what's going to happen, when, and why. Because we've tried bullhorns, it just doesn't work. So 6 or 8 people, grab a couple of things. We're Rotary, right? Introduce yourself. I'm Andy from Rotary. Welcome. Whatever.
Wear your yellow hat. Yeah.
Wear your yellow hat. Wear a shirt or whatever. So it's kind of meet and greet. So Chris will be starting to line people up 5 minutes before 9. And I've got the little police car there. The police car is in front of the building, and it'll be to the left because the parade is going to form, as we're looking at the building, left to right by age groups. So each group leader will have a little sign. It'll have the age group on them, and you're like the Pied Piper. The kids line up behind you. At 9 o'clock, Chris will, tell the police officer, root, 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 and we're off. So the police car goes around, the parade goes around. The red circles in the upper corners on Route 2 at the edge of each sidewalk, one near the statue on the right, one towards the front entrance of the library on our left as we're looking at, are the two candy corners. So for candy, I have Walter and an unnamed guest so far, and I have Susan and Rick at the other corner. So for those guys and for Chris, 5 minutes before the parade starts, you got to be in position, and then it's really just kind of handing out candy. Parade leaders and what it says on the sign, the most important things are to remind everybody to go to the gazebo at the end. You go to the gazebo because you're going to recycle your eggs, for one thing. If you have a costume, that's a second thing. And if you have the rotary egg, which will have the seal on it, then you go into the gazebo where Elizabeth and Jude are going to be in charge of distributing the baskets to age-appropriate children. Parade leaders, so you're imparting that information to your horde, your group. Go to the gazebo, there's recycling. If you get an egg, you get a prize. But most importantly, wait for your whole group to get there. Some of these groups get spread out along the parade route, especially the younger groups. So if you are, for instance, the 1 and 2s and the 3s and 4s, your folks will probably span that entire sidewalk. And you just have to have people wait, watch you. When you're in charge of your own group, you can drop the rope and you can say, go, but don't do it until everybody's in position. Otherwise, the first 10 kids get it and some kids still up at the candy corner and it doesn't work. I also recommend if you're on the younger age group, hold back a couple of eggs, put them in your pocket, put them in a bag. Kid gets there late, just drop an egg, So you can do all of those things. Then when we come back into the gazebo, the recyclers so far, I think, are Andrew and Ellie Beckett. And so that's sort of how the day will go. So the 14th will be egg stuffing. Chris, it will have all of the stuff. He'll bring it here. If you are on, I still need a couple more baskets. I think I have Phil and Sonia, Walter, Chris, Barb, Marty, Susan, myself, Leslie, Dave Erickson. I could probably still use a few more baskets. Howard, thank you.
I'll do 3.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The more baskets we have, the more happy kids. It's kind of cool. For Elizabeth and Jude, sometimes I'll try to have more baskets than eggs, because sometimes at the end, as everybody's dissipated, there's a cute little kid. And if you have an extra basket, bring them up. Always a cute kid.
It's an ugly little kid.
There's no such thing.
So
More so.
the egg stuffing will be here at the regular meeting. So it'll be, there is no speaker, really. That's our event. What else do I have? So baskets. Yeah, really good question about baskets. Chris, I'm sorry. I'm going to recommend that everybody bring them on the 14th. It gets really dicey if people promise to come on Saturday morning and they don't show and we have no baskets because somebody got forgetful or missed their alarm. So please, please, please bring them in on the 14th. Chris is going to fill his truck with stuff. If there's anybody else that will be going that can take a couple of baskets home and put them in their garage, just so it doesn't get really hot, because some of them may have chocolate in them. You can do that. And that would help Chris out.
Yeah.
Jude.
Question, you've been mentioning eggs.
Yes.
In addition to that,
So I'm not familiar with what we do with eggs. How's that?
Okay, I'm going to bring in thousands of plastic eggs, and I'm going to bring in.
I mean, at the gazebo at the end. When you
Oh,
said
okay.
eggs
I'll
there,
talk
so-
to you about it so for the hunt leaders also. You'll have your basket of eggs for your hunt area. You will also be given between 3 and 4 rotary eggs. They're very noticeable. They have an emblem on them, a rotary emblem. And you are going to put those in the hunt area as a hunt leader. They don't just turn the egg, turn the sticker down. And again, as a leader, you're telling people if you find the rotary emblem, it's also on the announcement. Then they go, and that's what they're going to present to you is a rotary egg with a rotary emblem. You'll see it.
And what do they get?
They get the baskets.
Okay.
So
That's how we select.
They get the
Okay,
baskets.
great.
So again, on the early morning, whoever has, if you're in charge of baskets, you're gonna, at 8 o'clock, you're not gonna do a hunt. You're gonna take all those baskets, and what Deb Beckett used to do is just line them around the seating in the gazebo, usually age. So as a 9-year-old comes in, you're gonna go over here and you're gonna give them a basket and collect their egg.
Yep.
A 1-year-old, you're gonna collect the egg.
Are you assigning baskets kind of age range?
Age range, yes. So if you're doing a new basket, 5, 6, 5 to 7 is always you can also run the ranges on that. So I think that's it. The only last, Charlie.
Knowing the environmental damage that balloons do, I hope we will omit the balloons this year.
Balloons have been omitted
Yeah.
based on environmental damage.
Is there any like criteria for the baskets? Because I'm envisioning if everyone's doing the baskets, there's gonna be like grandiose and then there's gonna be petite and the kids are always like on the grandiose or.
Walmart.
Absolutely, really good question. We have in the past had people make baskets, but for the most part, yes, a Walmart type basket or a
already put
drugstore.
together, you're saying?
Yes, yes, and you can kind of look in and see they'll have toys or a basketball or a soccer ball or whatever. So yes, just a $10, $12, whatever they cost these days,
Pre-wrapped.
pre-wrapped, pre-shrunk, boom, you buy it, you bring it, and those guys pass it out. Really good question.
I have 2 questions then. Do we decide which basket's going to be given to each child?
Yes.
Or do the children get a
No,
chance? to
no.
pick?
They're
And
gonna,
the second child, what do we do for children that are physically challenged so that they can't run, but they want to participate in that? Do we have any provisions for that?
well, I like, my best answer is we have a sidewalk. If there's, if it's appropriate, drop a couple of eggs, and if there's a parent that helps, depends. So we can definitely accommodate that. But you're basically gonna hang out in the gazebo waiting, and the kid's gonna come up. They're gonna get no farther than the top of the steps. You're gonna ask them how old they are, look at the egg, and go to your area where you have an age appropriate
If they
basket.
can't get up the steps, carry the basket down to them.
Sure.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you knew that. I think that Jude's point is very well taken, and I think all of us can just take it upon ourselves to check in with parents and say, is there anything special I can do to help you?
Yeah.
Period.
So the last question I think I have is, in the past, I've had some good connections at the school because they publish notice in the school bell. Does anybody know who a good contact at Central School might be that I send a little media
Greg.
release?
I can send it.
And,
But Greg, Greg's
oh,
good.
Greg, yeah.
She's
Yeah.
eating,
Got
so she can't
No, I
take
got Greg. I think that's it. I will be here next week. I may or may not have to leave early, but I may, and I'll send around more signups. Thank you all for what you do. It's an awesome event. You guys are gonna kill it.
It's gonna go well.
Andy, Sherry signed up for 2.
I can do a couple, but yeah, just let me know what age or like that part.
7 to 9, please.
Andy, I'm gonna do 2. That's-
Okay.
And you just tell me what age. you
Okay.
need.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Sherry.
everybody. I still do need a parade leader. You march around, then you take them to the hunt area and you let them go.
For the oldest kid.
Can I
it's
have my
easy.
clipboard? Just because I don't know what I'm going to say. if I don't know.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. Any other questions from the home screen? Nope. This is a fabulous event. I encourage every single Rotarian who can possibly be there on Saturday to be there, even if you are a fly in the trees or something. I'll even loan you my camera so you can take pictures. It's so much fun. Thank you, Andy, for carrying on this tradition for so many years. Charlie has an announcement.
The Cambridge Rotary Club is doing a fundraiser to try to raise money for shelter boxes to go for Ukrainian refugees. And I went to the Cambridge, Vermont Rotary website yesterday and found that it was really easy to give a donation. If any of you are interested in supporting Ukrainian refugees, that Cambridge, Vermont Rotary Club website is a good way to do it.
Perfect. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie.
Any other announcements? Bye. Thank you, Andy. Okay, let me see. For all of you at home and those of you who have been at home while we've been using the OWL for our Zoom meetings, if you could give us some feedback on how you have liked the OWL versus how you like what we're currently using. We're just looking at possibly purchasing that for the club. So it would be nice to get feedback from those of you who are seeing both. So thank you for that. COTS, for probably most of you know COTS, they're doing their 33rd annual COTS walk on May 1st. It's a 3.5 mile walk in Burlington that leads us to each of their facilities. You get to each stop and we don't go in, but they provide information about that facility. So that's happening on May 1st and I'm planning to do it. Armand's planning to do it. And we would love to have a team of us if anyone is interested. So if that's something you think you'd like to do, just let me know so we can start planning for that. And that is all I have. Anyone else? Okay, we're going to go into sharing time. Oh, hold on. I'm really out of practice. We have a raffle drawing. So let's see who
stacked the deck this week.
Let's see who's gonna do it this week. I think we should let Rick McGuire because he's not doing anything. Yeah. He's not doing anything. Sorry, I'm holding a little higher. Thank you. All right, Sally, would you read the numbers, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
410007.
Ooh.
Oh, it's mine.
Which one did you read from?
That's pretty awesome. There's nothing wrong with
We
that.
need to double check that.
And you get to choose a card.
Yeah.